Hey, True Seeker, Friday, February 8th, 2019. Going to be doing our daily live sports decode Monday through Saturday. The last 2 weeks has been a real struggle with the NBA. Been doing okay with NCAA in college. So, anyhow, Friday, February 8th, 2019. Again, it is the 116th day of the NBA season, the 129th day of the NHL season. The date numerology, numbers to look for today: 49, 22, 29, 10. It's also the 39th day of the year. And if there's any other numbers to consider, it's the date itself. The fact that it's the 8th day of the month, and the date can be written 28 like 28. So before we get to today's games, let's review yesterday. That Lakers-Celtics game, something that I definitely should have thought of yesterday, was Rondo, who's a former Celtic, who ended up making the game winner. We're going to look at what a riddle that was. We like the Pacers to get it done against the Celtics. They did yesterday. We like the Magic to become 15-15 at home in the Amway Center. Amway Center 47, the 15th prime. That worked out. We thought the Hawks had a chance to possibly upset the Raptors. Obviously a risky pick. One of the best teams in the East versus one of the worst. The Raptors ended up giving the Hawks their 36th loss, Toronto's 36. So can't be too surprised. We were wondering if the Raptors could potentially pick up their 17th loss and stay on 17 away wins against the Hawks. Hawks is 17, but instead the Hawks got the 36th loss. The Celtics-Lakers was kind of tight, but I ultimately ended up deciding that I liked the Celtics to get their 36th win over the Lakers and their 37th over the Clippers because Los Angeles was 37. That cannot happen now. Instead, Rondo, the former Celtic, got the buzzer beater game winner. And take a peek at this. We talked about how for both teams it was their 55th game. That stood out because Boston, Massachusetts is 55, Los Angeles is 55. We talked about that before the game. There ended up being 257 combined points, which is the 55th prime number, reminding just how scripted it all is. And the man who made the game-winning shot, Rondo, he's coming up on his 33rd birthday, but it was his 351st day of his age, which again is the 26th triangular number, Celtics 26. So what a magical day for him to beat his old team with a game-winning shot. And if you check the box score, his game winner was his 17th points of the game, 17. NBA equals 17. The Celtics lead the NBA with 17 championships. Again, the Yankees lead the MLB with 27 World Series, MLB 27. This game, the other thing that's interesting about this game is it was the 115th day of the NBA season, but it was 114 days after the season began, another way to put it. And, of course, Boston and LA met in the 114th World Series. And we just saw Boston and LA in the Super Bowl. So a few riddles there. Got on the wrong side of that game. We like the Thunder. The Trailblazers. What we liked about this game was them becoming 33-21 against the Spurs. Spurs has Gematria of 33-21. So what a fitting team to have a 33-21 record against. 33-21. Usually, I'd say almost always, whenever that scenario arises, which is, I wouldn't say it's totally rare, but it's not common. But when you see that where a team's win and loss record can be the value of what the other team equals, it seems that that's a pattern that hits and hits and hits and hits and hits. I was trying to think of an example where it didn't work out that way. But again, Spurs 33-21, the Blazers now 33-21. NCAA college basketball. Sure I got the right day up here. Gonzaga, that wasn't much of a pick. Huge spread. They blew them out. We liked Houston to get it done against UCF. They did. We liked Iowa to beat Indiana. That happened. Indiana fell to 4-8 in the Big Ten. Iowa equals 48, the team that put them there. And there was no reason to think Memphis could beat Cincinnati. So college basketball win as expected. And then in the NHL, this is today's date numerology. Yesterday was 48, 21, 28, 9. Yesterday's games here. There were a lot of games yesterday. This one was, we said, you couldn't tell because either team could have picked up 27 and ended up being the Hurricanes. That Philadelphia Flyers-Kings game was tight. Kings ended up prevailing there. The Ducks stayed on 21 wins on the 21 date. The Golden Knights stayed on 21 losses, and the Red Wings stayed on 21 wins on the 21 day. Stars picked up their 21st loss on the 21 day. So again, that date numerology, it's usually the biggest tell. The Blue Jackets had a chance to pick up their 21st loss, but they did not. And then that's a reminder that not every game will follow the date numerology, but the most will. If you just followed the 21 pattern, you would have been in good shape yesterday. So let's get to today's games. And just a reminder, if there's any riddles that you can think of that connect teams together, team history, you want to consider those things. And shouldn't have overlooked the Rondo thing yesterday with the Lakers and Celtics. But here we are, Friday, February 8th, 2019. Again, just one more time, we're looking at NBA games. It's the 116th day of the season. We got numerology of 49, 22, 29, 10. It is the 8th. The date 28 looks like 28. And it's the 39th day of the year, which is the big old New York number. So the first game we're looking at involves a New York team. And remember what it is with the Knicks right now. They've lost 14 in a row. Their last loss was against the Pistons in New York. And in that 14th loss in a row, they got their 43rd loss of the season. So 43 is the 14th prime number. Prime number relationships. We see them come together all the time. Now, oftentimes streaks will end at 14. The word end equals 14. The only thing here is, again, that's a rule that often hits, but not always. Sometimes a streak goes past 14. The thing here is the Knicks can get their 44th loss in Detroit, and Detroit carries that gematria of 44. So that makes things iffy, Is the rule of 14 going to stop here, or is it going to go to 44 losses in Detroit? So let's again look at the head-to-head between these teams. Knicks Pistons head-to-head. It is going to be the 380th game. That's not a prime number. Any number that's even or ends in a 5 is not prime. Just a number, a rule to remember with math. The Knicks' next win is their 207th. The Pistons' next is their 174th. And these games are coming right after the trade deadline, the number of moves. We're expecting the Knicks, at least I am. I'm expecting the Knicks to win 17 games this year. The Knicks, I think they're going to win 17 and win the Zion Williams sweepstakes. Zion 17. The draft's 17 days from Zion's birthday. So that means there's 29 games left in the season. And the Knicks should go 7-22 from here. So they're going to win about 1 out of every 4 games they have left. Okay. So in the head-to-head, I don't see anything that screams out about the win series record in light of today's date. Again, they just played 3 days ago. Are they going to play one more time this year? They're going to play one more time April 10th. That's the 100th day of the year. That'll be a date with 33 numerology. It's in New York. 53 numerology as well. That'll be right near the end of the season. That'd be a good day for them to get their 16th win. 53, the 16th prime. Just thinking down the road here. Okay, so they're going to play 4 times. Are the no, they're in the same conference but not the same division. Let's look at the conference records. The Pistons 1 game out of the playoffs. They can either get their 16th conference win or 19th loss. 19 is the 8th prime. We are on the 8th day of the month. The Pistons could potentially get their 19th conference loss. The Knicks, they can either get their 31st conference loss or their 7th conference win. And Pistons is 31. Pistons could be the team to give them their 31st conference loss. And also they would get their 44th overall loss, Detroit 44. There is a relationship with New York in 39. There's also a relationship with 10 in 39. When you write out 10, it equals 39. I think, did the Knicks get that 10th win against the Lakers on the 39 day? Check the Knicks schedule real quick. Next game against the Raptors. So that's, I mean, nothing's a guarantee, but I mean, that's very likely a loss right there. Let's just think if they lost 2 in a row. They lost 2 in a row. Get their 45th loss. Is there a connection with and they play the Cavs. In terms of the Pistons record, if they got their 16th win, 16 has the relationship with 33. New York's 33. This game, it's just a little bit iffy to me. I mean, it seems like there's better alignment for the Pistons to win. It's just how often I've seen streaks end at 14. Let's see. What's Little Caesars Arena? Little Caesars 45. Little Caesars is 207. The Knicks could get their 207th win in the series. Let me peek at the chat real quick. Less bench for the Knicks. We're just getting started, Carl. Oh no, Little Caesars, huh? You like their pizza? All right. They're a pretty big spread anyway. I don't know if it's the safest pick tonight. Pistons probably take it, but there's that streaks ending at 14 thing for the Knicks. And potentially the 207th win in Little Caesars. See if we can get some better reads here. Nuggets, 76ers. So non-conference game. Again, our date numerology, 49, 22, 29, 10. Oh, you know, with the 29 and 10 thing, 29 is the 10th prime number. Let me see. Were those numbers playing here at all? 29 is the 10th prime. Those really could be strong numbers today. Perhaps that's another reason for the Pistons to stay on 29 losses. 29 and 10, strong relationship. So, yeah, I got to favor the Pistons there, but that 14 streak still is on the board. Okay. Nuggets, 76ers. I don't see the 29 thing here. Non-conference game. It's the ERS. So this is the 76ers gematria. Again, the reason I put it in this way is because if you add the 7-6, it adds the numbers, and really it shouldn't be that way in the most pure gematria. Let's see. I think there was a 15 on the board here. The Nuggets do have a chance at their 15th away win against the 76ers. Let's check the head-to-head in this game. We'll check the M cubed on this one too, because it's non-conference. These teams have never met in the finals. It's going to be the 88th game. The 76ers. So the Nuggets can get their 39th win in the series on the 39th day of the year. That's something. And again, they can get that 15th away win, and 76ers has the gematria 15. Have these teams played yet this year? Yeah, they just played, actually. So the 76ers just lost at the Nuggets by 16, and that was 13 days ago. All right, let's check what's happened here at games in Philadelphia against the Nuggets. Philadelphia at home against the Nuggets, 29 and 15. Well, isn't that interesting? Another 29 on the board. And again, today's date has the 29 numerology. 29 is the 10th prime. They could stay at 29. Make sure there's not any numbers I'm overlooking here. Denver Nuggets. Philadelphia. Philadelphia 76ers is that 82 connection. They can be written 8/2. Pro basketball's 82, like 82 games in the season. But I think the Nuggets have a strong alignment to upset here. I think they got a good chance to get it done. Let's check the Wells Fargo. There are 16 on the board. Oh, center. Okay, I am noticing that this game's on ESPN. The only thing that's concerning about that is, again, ESPN has that strong 18 connection. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Nuggets will pick up their 18th loss, but that is something to consider. Hold on. I swear I just saw. What was it that I just saw? Hold on. I want to make sure I didn't just see something. I thought a second ago when I was digging around, I just saw a 217, but maybe not. This riddle's a little bit tight too. The 18 thing on ESPN makes me a little bit nervous, but that 18 is also symbolic of upset, and it would be a slight upset if the Nuggets got it. All right, here I'm checking the chat. I see you guys are having a conversation about another game, something about the Cavs game to see. All right, well, we're coming up on that game. We'll get there. It's right here, right now. So it's best if you guys talk about the games when we're there. That's how you keep the chat moving fluently. That's how we work instead of just like spamming out whatever your thought. I mean, we're going to get to that game. So Cavs Wizards. Right away, I'm just seeing there's just familiar numbers that I'm used to seeing together in recent days, 5 and 23. Okay. The Wizards potentially could get their 33rd loss, though, against Cleveland. Cleveland's 33. That would keep them at 16 home wins. 16 has the relationship with 33. All right, listen. See the Cavs and the Wizards head to head. All right, so the Wizards are at 111, Cleveland's at 106. The thing about 107, the Cavs' potential 107th win, is it's the 28th prime, and today's date looks a little bit like 28-28. And with regards to the other team being at 111, Cleveland Cavaliers has that 111 thing. This will be the fourth and final game this year. The Wizards have a losing record against the Cavs this year. That's interesting. So they won at home, and they lost twice on the road. Is there any clues in these scores? Today's the 116th day of the NBA season, and both times they lost, Cleveland scored 116 points. That's very interesting. And it's the 116th day of the NBA season. So that 33rd loss against Cleveland seems to be staring me in the face. Cleveland's going to have to win some games to help New York win the well, not necessarily. I mean, they can rig those ping pong balls every year in the NBA draft, but New York finishing at rock bottom would still help the narrative. Let's see. 55th game for the Wizards, 55th for the Cavs. Wizards equals 37. That's also the 12th prime. So the Cavs can get their 12th win against the Wizards, but I'm seeing that 44 as well. They could also potentially get their 44th loss against the Wizards. These teams, I do not, same conference. I don't think they're the same division, though. Okay. Let's see the conference right here. So the Wizards, 15-21 in the conference. Cleveland, 9-26. That means Cleveland can get their 10th win on the 39th day of the year. There is the strong relationship with 10-39. Ohio's also 29. 29 is the 10th prime. We have the 29 date numerology. 22 date as well. With a win for the Cavs, that would keep the Wizards at 22 wins on the 22 date, and it would keep the Cavs at 22 losses. There's a little riddle. The most concerning thing for a Cavs loss is that 44th, because Wizards is 44. But I think the better alignment is for the Cavs to get it done here, even though they're a 10-point underdog. So maybe if you're going to put a pick on this game, I would pick the Cavs to cover the spread. It might be a tighter game than a 10-point finish. I see Jacon's got a good stat about Kevin Love 22 weeks after his birthday. That's a good point there. So the glitch in your matrix sees the political riddle. Donald Trump had his convention in Cleveland that was synced up with Washington, D.C., and Donald Trump does equal 523 in satanic. That is a thought. I think just based on all the riddles on the board, it's possible, Wizards do win this game, but I think the safest bet is the Cavs to cover in terms of the numbers we're looking at here. All right, Bulls, Nets. The first thing that jumps out to me here, well, with our date numerology, the Bulls can get their 22nd away loss on the 22 date against the Nets. Nets has Gematria of 13 and 22, which is also a little bit tricky because the Bulls could get their 13th win, but the number that goes with the date is 22. That would also put their away record at 7-22. 2-2-7, 7-2-2 numbers we see a lot. I think that happened with the Lakers last night. I think they got to maybe it was the Celtics. Maybe the Celtics fell to 22-7 at home, something like that. What was that yesterday? I just want to check real quick. Those numbers, they just come together so often. Yeah, the Celtics fell to 22-7 at home. So, okay. The date numerology points to a Bulls potential loss. The only thing there's the 13th win. Let's see the head-to-head for these teams. Be the 170th game. The Bulls are at 92 wins. The Bulls could potentially get their 93rd win on the 39th day of the year, or the Nets can pick up their 78th win. The Bulls are 0-3 against the Nets this year. They can get swept today, or they could improve to 1-3 in the season, where Nets is 13, and they could get their 13th win in the year. Let's see something here. Brooklyn's also 41, the 13th prime. Brooklyn's 112, like Chicago Bulls is 112. Nets, Chicago Bulls. Remember, the Bulls stayed at 12 wins on the 37th day of the year. Chicago's 37, Bulls 12, 37, the 12th prime. The other thing that goes against the Nets here is they're at 29 wins. It is a 29 date as well. 29 is the 10th prime number. We have the 29 and 10 date numerology. If the Bulls got the W, they'd get their 8th away win on the 8th. Check the stadium real quick. Just sometimes there's a stadium clue. Our Clay Center is 88. They could get their 8th away win on the 8th in the Barclays Center. New York 79, the 22nd prime, 22 date, could get that 22nd loss. See what the Bulls schedule is. So the Bulls face the Wizards and then Milwaukee for their next 2 games. The Wizards have the 44 connection, and so does Wisconsin. So I'm just thinking that if the Bulls did lose tonight, they'd get their 43rd loss. They could also potentially get their 44th against the Wizards. Their next game. This one's tight too, but the date numerology, again, has 22, the big basketball number, potential 22nd loss. The only thing that's tricky is we're on a 29 date as well, and the Nets are already at 29 wins. All right, Bucks Mavericks. What jumps out right away about this game is if the Bucks win, they're 41-13. Dallas equals 41-13. So perfect team to become 41-13 against. 41-13. That would give the Mavericks their 29th loss on a 29 date. Bucks are a big favorite, even though they're on the road, huh? But yeah, that's got numbers that look good. Let's see. 75th game. Bucks can also get their 41st win in the series. How about that? So that one looks good. Warriors Suns, 39th day of the year. The Warriors can get their 39th win on the 39th day of the year in Arizona, 39. So that riddle looks pretty straightforward. Phoenix would get their 46th loss, and Phoenix has that Gematria 46, their 46th loss in Phoenix. That would put the Suns at 7-22 on the 22 date. They'd get their 22nd home loss against the team from Oakland, 22. So Golden State monster favorite. Doesn't do you much good, but that's as close as a lock as you get. And again, I'm just going to throw it out there. I've said it several times, but I don't know what it pays out if you bet $50 on the game. If it pays $20, I mean, it's like 20 free dollars. $20 buys things in the world. Timberwolves, Pelicans. Timberwolves just can't get that 26th win. Let's see. They have a chance to stay at 8 away wins on the 8th. For the Pelicans, it's their 56th game. If the Timberwolves did win tonight, they'd stay at 29 losses on the 29-day. Timberwolves Pelicans. So 58th game. Minnesota going for its 28th win on 2-8. So Anthony Davis going to play the rest of the season. All right, so same conference, different division. Let's see. Minnesota has a chance. It's a 22nd loss in the conference on this 22-day. The Pelicans, 15th win or 21st loss. Let's see here. New Orleans Pelicans, 79 the 22nd prime, and also 101 the 26th prime. Timberwolves' next win is their 26th. All right. New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans also 79 the 22nd prime. Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves 93 the 39th day of the year. Timberwolves 71 the 20th prime. This game's on ESPN as well. There was no 18s on the board, was there? So the thing for the Timberwolves is that the loss riddle is getting this 22nd conference loss on the 22 date, and the Pelicans have the 79 connections, which is the 22nd prime. The win riddle is them getting their 26th over the 101 team, 101 the 26th prime, and staying at 29 losses on the 29 date. So that game doesn't breed a lot of confidence for me. Let's just check the name of the center real quick. The Smoothie King Center. 93 like Minnesota Timberwolves. 39th day of the year. Smoothie King. All right. Heat Kings. Heat Kings. So the Kings can get their 29th win on the 29 date. That stands out right away. The Heat can get their 12th loss on the road in Sacramento. Sacramento's 37. That's the 12th prime. Sacramento 37, the 12th prime. So something with the date and the location that goes both ways. I always like when that happens. Let's see Kings Heat head-to-head here. It's going to be the 61st game. That's the 18th prime. The Miami Heat going for their 41st win. The Kings going for their 21st. what 21 has a relationship with in terms of the date is 21 is the 8th Fibonacci number. It is the 8th. A thought. These teams played once. The Heat lost at home to the Kings. Sacramento Kings 61, 61st game of the series. Oftentimes when a team connects to the series matchup, that's a good sign. 61 is also the 18th prime. It's the 61st series matchup. They can get their 18th home win. The Heat could get their 28th overall loss on 2-8. I think I feel good about Sacramento here. Dakota likes the Heat, huh? I don't know why you'd go with the Heat here, but if you're feeling it, go for it. I've been wrong on enough games in the last 2 weeks in the NBA to doubt me, but I don't know where the read for the Heat comes from in this one. All right, you guys can take the Heat if you want, but Kings got the date numerology. The Heat loss syncs up with the location. It's the overall series, 61st, which goes with Sacramento Kings. So, I see what you guys are saying. Miami, 27, and they could get their 27th loss against Miami. I see what you're saying. Okay, so there is a little read there for 27 losses against Miami. That is true. Oh yeah, that Dwayne Wade. Let's see what's going on with Dwayne Wade. It is the Dwayne Wade tour. Let's see what Dwayne Wade has done against the Kings. We got to check this for each Heat game here. Dwayne Wade versus the Kings. Wow, he's killed the Kings. 21 wins and 3 losses. Wow. Okay. So if he gets that win, he gets his 22nd win on the 22 date, and then he'd be 22-3, which is kind of like a magical number there. We know all about 223. Okay, let's see something. Well, that makes things a lot more interesting looking at Dwayne Wade. The word king, just the singular, has the Gematria 22 as well. Yeah, watching that game earlier this week against the Blazers, it was obvious it was all about Dwayne Wade, and then the riddle was all through him. So, yeah, I got to remember to look at Dwayne Wade for each game. Yeah, that 22-3 is really hard to doubt. That's hard to doubt, 22-3. We know all about 2-2-3, so. Okay, let's just review real quick. The Knicks and the Pistons. I got to see what the head-to-head was. There was something in the head-to-head for this in addition to what I want to say. The Knicks have a shot at their 207th win. Little Caesars equals 207, the arena they're playing in. Little Caesars, pizza. So that's one thing for the Knicks. Another thing for the Knicks is that they've lost 14 straight, and the word end equals 14. However, they can get their 44th loss, and Detroit equals 44. With the Detroit win, they stay at 29 losses on the 29 day. So it makes that game, you know, hard to call either way there. I'd say that makes it an unclear read because you can make a riddle both ways. The Nuggets and the 76ers. 76ers has that Gematria 15. The Nuggets can get their 15th road win, and they can get their 39th win against the 76ers on the 39th day of the year. The problem is we have 22 date numerology. The 76ers can get their 22nd home win and give the Nuggets their 18th loss on ESPN 18. So that is also a tight call. Cavs, Wizards. Wizards equals 44. Cavaliers could potentially get their 44th loss. Then again, Wizards is also 37, the 12th prime. Cavs could get their 12th win. With a Cavs win, the Wizards get their 33rd loss. Cleveland equals 33, and they stay at 22 wins on the 22 day. I think if you're going to make a pick here, the safest pick is to have the Cavs covering the 9.5-point spread. You can make an argument either way. Cavs have a decent narrative to upset the Wizards. If it's a close game, they cover the spread and don't get the win, then you still win. So Bulls, Nets. Again, we have 22 date numerology. Nets equals 13 and 22. Bulls could get their 22nd away loss and be 7 and 22. New Jersey equals 43. I know they're not in New Jersey anymore. Sometimes I just wonder if these teams carry the old city narratives with them. You know, like, for example, football, we're always talking about the Colts and Baltimore paralleling each other. Just something to think about, something to observe. If the Bulls do lose tonight and get their 43rd loss, keep that in mind. The problem is Bulls can get their 13th win, and Nets is also 13. That would keep the Nets at 29 wins on a 29 day. And just makes it tough. With a Nets win tonight, they stay at 12 home losses. Chicago equals 37, the 12th prime. Bulls equals 12. The head-to-head here also had a little riddle. With the Bulls win, they could potentially get their 93rd on the 39th day of the year. So that one's tight too. If you were going to bet on this game, I think the best bet would be the Bulls to cover. So again, I don't like when you can make an argument both ways. The Bucks seems to be one of the easiest calls of the night. Dallas equals 41 and 13. And the Bucks can also get their 41st win in Dallas. The Mavericks would pick up their 29th loss on a 29 day. So I think this is probably what I would say is the safest pick of the night. They can get that 41st win in Dallas. The date numerology and the cities go both ways. Huge spread here, so not a great game, but Arizona equals 39, 39th day of the year. Warriors getting the 39th win on this date. Suns getting their 22nd home loss on a 22-date numerology. Timberwolves, Pelicans. To me, this is another tight riddle. It's another tight riddle here. New Orleans Pelicans, 101, the 26th prime. The T-Wolves could get their 26th win and stay on 29 losses. Or the Timberwolves could get their 22nd conference loss on a 22-date against a team with multiple 79 connections. 79, the 22nd prime. So hard to be certain about that game. This game, Kings Heat on the surface, more seems to line up for the Kings, getting that 29th win on the 29 date. Given the Heat their 12th away loss, Sacramento 37, the 12th prime. Heat getting their 28th loss on 2-8. But the thing is, Miami does equal 27. The Kings can get their 27th loss against Miami, Miami 27. And Dwayne Wade, who's on his farewell tour, if he beats the Kings tonight, he becomes 22-3 against them all time. 2-2-3. Gets his 22nd win on a 22-day. And just real quick, I guess we should measure from Dwayne Wade's birthday. January 17th, so that's easy. So today is today's 22 days after his birthday. How about that? So he can get his 22nd win against the Kings, once a teammate of King James in multiple cities. So yeah, I mean, I just saw that with the Blazers game, that it was the Dwayne Wade show. Him getting his 22nd win on the 22-way date when he's the man for that franchise. I guess I got to go with that riddle in the end. But I'd still rate it as, a little iffy because the Kings have some numbers to get it done. Let me check the chat before we switch over to college basketball. Thomas Staval points out that if Wade loses, he's 21-4, and that would put the series at 21-40. Let's check that out real quick. It's just that it's 22-date numerology. That's a huge number because basketball is 22. I see what you're saying. Sacramento Kings does equal 61. It's the 61st series game, which is the 18th prime. Kings could get their 18th home win in the 61st series game. So, yeah, my initial thought was Kings, but then when I saw the thing about Dwayne Wade, it was just hard to ignore that. Again, I don't like games where you can make a riddle both ways. So Jacon says when we get to college basketball, St. Mary's, one coach, 322 wins. The other is on 322 losses. Why didn't you write out the name of the school coach instead of writing one? You could have wrote like that would make the comment a lot more helpful. John also makes a point about Dwayne Wade. Perhaps the Heat go 16-11 on the road as a tribute to LeBron, since LeBron used to play for the Heat. We've only seen the 16-11 thing go for the Lakers, though, this year, the team that LeBron's on. So keep that in mind. All right, let's look at college basketball. College basketball. Wisconsin, Michigan. Wisconsin just became 9-3 in the Big Ten and 93 land on the 93rd meridian. That was over Minnesota. What stands out right away to me about this game is we're on the 22 date. Basketball equals 22, and Michigan going for that 22nd win. So date numerology. If you just picked all your games on date numerology, you're going to win a lot more often than you lose. Wisconsin Badgers. Seeing if there's any 22s on the board. Wolverines. Michigan Wolverines. Okay. So that 22 is screaming out. It's going to be 24th game for both teams. Let's get up the head-to-head here. Michigan basketball, head-to-head, win-loss. Wisconsin, 124th game, and they lead 69-54. Wisconsin does equal 55. That might mean that Wisconsin takes it the next time it's in Wisconsin. Today doesn't have the 55 date numerology. Let's look at the odd shark. Wisconsin, Michigan, odd shark. See what's happened in recent games here. Wait, that's... Why is this not coming up? Is this game day? Am I looking at the wrong? I'm sorry, you guys. I'm on the wrong date. My fault. No wonder. Okay, February 8th. All right, let's look at today's games. All right, so this is what you're talking about. Be fearless. You're making good points. I think that game's tight tonight. I think that's a tight game there, the one you're talking about. All right, so I'm going to figure out who has the 322 wins here. St. Louis college basketball coach, Travis Ford. All right, so he's got the 322 wins. St. Louis. So that means the St. Joseph's coach got 223, huh? Bill Martelli. $322 losses. That is something else. 441 has a square root of 21. That's his next win. All right. This game's on ESPN. I don't see any 18 on the board. St. Louis. St. Louis. St. Louis has that 74 connection. They could become 7-4 in their conference. It's also 47 on. The other team could become 4-7 in the conference against them. Makes that a little tricky. St. Joseph's. St. Joseph's is 47 as well. How about that? St. Joseph's 49, square root of 7. Let's see if there's this will be the 16th game. St. Louis leads 12-3. Fortunately, those numbers don't correspond with today's date. It's in Philadelphia, PA. Philadelphia does equal 65. They could fall to 6-5, and this team could get to 47. We saw how St. Joseph's was 47 when spelled out. Them falling to 6-5 in Philadelphia has some real merit. The only thing is they could also get their 16th win in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's 53, the 16th prime. Makes it a little tricky. Hagen Arena, 43, the 14th prime. Potentially get their 14th loss. This game's tight. This game's a tight one. ESPN's got the 18-like upset. It would be an upset at home. What's the name of the mascots here? The Billikens. '39. It's the 39th day of the year. Game's on the 39th day. Biblical number. Religious schools. And St. Joseph's, the Hawks. Oh, they got that 17 connection. 2-8, kind of like the date. I can't be real confident either way with that game, but the Philadelphia thing just makes me wonder. St. Joseph's, the win would get to 47, the number that connects to their school. St. Louis, written ST period, Louis is also 74. So yeah, it's a tough one. Columbia, Harvard. How many games are there today? Hold on. We don't need to do all these games. Let's just look for some ones where the date numerology. Only thing there is Harvard could get its 8th loss on the 8th. Pennsylvania Brown. So not a lot of games are jiving with the date numerology today. Team like Georgia State could get their 8th win. Today's date has the 8 connection. But what I don't understand is it like glitched today? Because the top 25 is not bringing up any top 25 games. It's bringing up all these other schools. Maybe no top 25 are playing today. Seems weird. Okay, well, let's look at NHL then. Maybe we can get some better reads here in the NHL. All right, so again, 129th day of the NHL season. Just in case anybody's going for their 129th series win. 49, 22, 29, 10, the numbers today, and 29 is the 10th prime. So a relationship there, plus the 39th day of the year. 22 probably going to be the number that really stands out. Maybe some 29. Oh, well, look at that. We only got one game today. Okay, so here's what I think about today's game. New York, the 39 number. We got one game. It's in New York, and the opposing team can pick up its 22nd loss. The Rangers could also stay on 22 losses. So that looks good on the surface. Let's look at the head-to-head here. $143rd game. Going for the 81st win or the 54th loss. There's also a shot at the 8th tie on the 8th day of the month. Can you bet on a tie in hockey? I don't know about that. But just on the date numerology, things look good for New York. 39th day of the year can give the Hurricanes their 22nd loss. Let's see here. Some numbers. Carolina. It's the 143rd series game. Carolina does have the 143 connection. Carolina Hurricanes. Nobody had a 16, did they? There are no 16s on the board. Let's see here. Rangers got the connection to the date too. The date can be written 8/2, Rangers 82, or 2/8, 107, the 28th prime. Or Rangers. So the only argument I can make for the Hurricanes is they do have a shot at their 28th win, and Rangers is 107, the 28th prime. And then it is the 143rd series match. And oftentimes if the series match does connect to a team, it's favorable, but not always. The date numerology suggests, though, that Rangers stay at 22 losses and Hurricanes pick up their 22nd win. So let's see something. Hurricane, Rangers, puck line. What's that? Why don't they have any information? Odd Shark, Hurricanes, Rangers. MSG is another 39 as well. The New York Rangers sit 9 points behind Pittsburgh for the second wild card spot in the Eastern Conference, but it can improve their playoff hopes with a win over the Carolina Hurricanes at Madison Square Garden on Friday. Sportsbooks open the Rangers at plus 100, home underdogs with a total of 6. New York rallied from a 3-1 deficit on Wednesday to record a 4-3 shootout triumph over the Boston Bruins to improve to a 1-1-1 on its current home. Well, we know what's up with that, with the 1-1-1 thing. New York 111. When it comes to the puck line, the Rangers have traditionally been a great bet in this series. In New York's past 6 matchups with Carolina, it's 5-1 on the puck line. So plus 1.5 for the score. So again, Rangers have good alignment with the date numerology. 39th day of the year, New York, MSG, both 39. Can stay at 22 losses on the 22 day, can give the Hurricanes their 22nd loss. The risk is Rangers equals 107, the 28th prime, and the Hurricanes could get their 28th win in the 143rd series match where Carolina's 143. So it's not a straightaway read for one team or the other, but just going with the date numerology. And again, we just in the beginning we just looked at how the date numerology went perfect for all but one game yesterday in the NHL. So law averages, favor the Rangers here, I would say. So Schwab says Canes coach Rod Brind'Amour equals 71. With a Canes win, the Rangers can stay on 71 regulation losses. Is that with him as coach? Because the thing about 71 and 20 is they don't go with today's numbers. And eventually he's going to get that loss. Again, I always like to go with the date numerology. This is as a player. Or wait. Okay, I'm not sure what stat you're pointing at. So this is his first year as a coach. I don't know what stat you're going with there, Swab, with 7. No, for the season series. Check Kane's win-loss record. Season series. I'm still lost, man. It's not for the head-to-head between this team. It's not this season. It's his first season as a coach. I don't know what stat you got there. Lundqvist, the goalie. Okay. Yeah, the Rangers got that double connection to the date. Yeah, that's right. We hit that a moment ago. Let's see. I got to do a search for what you guys are talking about. 71 series wins. I'm lost. You guys lost me on that one. Let me see. Oh, okay. So Okay, so why is it different there? So I see how in the chat, why is it different? So you're looking at a different, okay. I am confused by that. I see what you linked in the chat. I'm checking it on my other monitor, and it's got a totally different series record. Why is it totally different? So the one that he linked in the chat, watch this. The one that he linked in the chat is totally different. It's still the 143rd game, but it's 55-71. Here, from the Rangers' perspective, against the Hurricanes, it's 80-53. How can that be? That is so weird. So when you look at this team, it's different than when you look at it from the Rangers' perspective. So I don't know which one of those is accurate. It's the Hurricanes' 39th season, though. That's interesting. So no wonder there was so much confusion. But yeah, it's different depending on which team's perspective you look from. Let's check it out here. Let's check it out. New York Rangers, series records, Carolina Hurricanes. Over here, it has the first record we were looking at. I think that 71 somehow is glitched. So at home, they could potentially pick up their 20th loss. As Schwab was pointing out, the coach's name equals 71, the 20th prime, the first-time year coach. Truth be told, this game's actually pretty dangerous because the date numerology says Rangers, but the Hurricanes do have they have a couple riddles on the board, which makes it iffy. If I was going to bet on this game, I'd probably take the puck line for the Rangers. So, but yeah, it's not a clear read. Okay, let's just review one more time. In the NBA, there's some really easy games the way the numbers line up. Unfortunately, they're for the big spreads. I think Knicks Pistons is dangerous. Knicks can get their 44th loss in Detroit. Detroit's 44. If the Pistons win, they stay at 29 losses on the 29 date. Pistons probably win this game. The only thing is the Knicks have lost 14 straight, and the word end equals 14. We've seen a lot of streaks over the years end at 14. I expect the Knicks to win 7 more games by the end of the season and finish 17-65. Do they get one of those wins tonight? Maybe, but probably more likely the Pistons pull it out. Danger, danger. Nuggets 76ers. This game is a risk too. Nuggets can get their 39th series win on the 39th day of the year. They can get their 15th away win. 76ers has the Gematria 15. The problem is we have 22 date numerology, and the 76ers can get their 22nd home win and give the Nuggets their 18th loss on ESPN 18. So I don't like games where you can make a narrative both ways. There's quite a few of those today. The Cavs can give the Wizards their 33rd loss. Cleveland equals 33. The Wizards would stay at 22 wins on the 22 date. The Cavs would get their 12th win. Excuse me. Am I speaking too fast? Did I just mash that up? All right, so here, let me start over with the Cavs and Wizards. The Cavs win scenario, they get their 12th win over Wizards. Wizards equals 37, the 12th prime. The problem with Wizards is it also equals 44. The Cavs could get their 44th loss. We have a 22-date numerology. If the Cavs win, they stay at 22 away losses. Then again, if the Cavs win, the Wizards also stay at 22 wins overall and pick up their 33rd loss, where Cleveland equals 33. So I always hate when you can make a narrative both ways. I think if you had to pick on this game, the safest pick would be the Cavs to cover the spread. But again, it's no guarantee because you can make a narrative either way. Bulls Nets, same problem. Nets equals 13. Nets also equals 22. Bulls could get their 13th win over the Nets. They could also get their 22nd away loss. Don't like that. If the Nets got upset, they'd stay at 29 wins on a date with 29 numerology. They'd also pick up their 28th loss on 2-8. But just the fact that the Bulls can get their 22nd loss on the 22 date, danger, danger. So I don't like it. The Bucks over the Mavericks is probably the safest pick that's worth a bet on. I mean, they're a pretty heavy favorite, 8 points. But again, the reason why is because Dallas equals 41 and 13. They beat Dallas. They're 41 and 13. And Dallas gets their 29th loss on a date with 29 numerology. Also their 8th home loss on the 8th. Their record would be 19 and 8. 19's the 8th prime. So Bucks look good to get it done in Dallas. The Warriors-Suns game, huge spread, but a beautiful alignment. 39th day of the year, 39th win. Phoenix equals, or not Phoenix, Arizona equals 39. And the Suns get their 22nd loss on a 22-date numerology. So if only we had a read like that for a tighter game. But, you know, those are the, whenever you get an alignment like that with a game, it's just like, it's where your eyeballs got to pop out. So notice the Warriors will have that 19 and 8 thing going too. 19, the 8th prime. Timberwolves, Pelicans. The narrative here for the Timberwolves, they stay at 29 losses on a 29 date. They get their 26th win over the Pelicans. Pelicans equals 101, which is the New Orleans Pelicans equals 101, which is the 26th prime. What's up, caller? Caller?
Yeah, was that?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, I got another 22 and 3 for you for that Miami game.
Okay.
Check your Hebrew calendar for the day.
Okay.
Check. Yeah, just check, see what the date is on it.
Punching it in right now, almost there. So today, so it's the 3rd day of Adar.
Yeah, you see that? Don't you 22 date in our calendar, and the 3rd day on the Hebrew. Could it be any more obvious?
Okay, so you're saying the 22-date numerology on our date and the 3rd day on the Hebrew calendar. Okay.
Yeah, that could be something.
That's it. That is interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, it's good to look at this Hebrew calendar. I mean, it was a huge riddle with the NFL season, that's for sure.
Oh, okay. All right, Zach, I'll leave it to the last screen.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, good to look at the Hebrew calendar. So this Timberwolves Pelicans game. Again, the narrative is for the Timberwolves, they stay on 29 losses. They pick up that 26th win over the team that has the 101 connection, 101, the 26th prime. The only scare here for the Timberwolves here is they can get their 22nd conference loss on a 22 date. So if that wasn't there, I would favor the Timberwolves. Just causes cause for concern. Heat Kings. It seems to be the Dwayne Wade farewell tour. We just talked about this with him making all of his shots in the second half, except for his easy lay-in against the Blazers, but it didn't matter because the game was already won. If Dwayne Wade wins this game, he'll be 22-3 against the Kings all time. 22-3 against the Kings. 223, very special number. It is a date with 22 numerology. The word king equals 22. James in Jewish gematria, or is it satanic gematria? Hold on. Let me just verify. I want to give you guys bad information. It's either Jewish or satanic. It's one of the two. It's satanic. James in satanic gematria is 223. We were talking about this back when it was number 2 posed next to number 23, LeBron and Kyrie Irving. But James, King James, Dwayne Wade, teammate of King James. Again, Dwayne Wade with a win today becomes 22-3 against the Kings. He's dominated this team for his career. If the Kings lose, they get their 27th loss of the season. Miami's 27. Now, on the flip side, again, this game's not, it's probably going to happen for the Dwayne Wade farewell tour, but it's not a lock because the Kings can get their 29th win on a 29-date numerology. They can give the Heat their 12th away loss in Sacramento. Sacramento equals 37, the 12th prime. Sacramento Kings equals 61, which is the 18th prime. They can get their 18th home win, and this is also the 61st series game between these teams. So, a lot of tight games tonight. A lot of iffy games. The safest game to me, well, the safest game is the Warriors over the Suns, but I mean, 16-point favorite, who cares? The Bucks over Mavericks. The Bucks have good reason to win this game. Good reason to win. Again, 41-13 in Dallas. Dallas equals 41-13. So, I'd be careful with your bets tonight. There really are a lot of tight narratives. Maybe make a small bet on a upset parlay because there are some potential upsets on the board, but these potential upsets are no guarantee. So, for those of you who got here late, at the beginning of this video, once it ends, you can watch the riddle with Rondo and the Lakers, which is something I'm kicking myself for overlooking. I didn't think about Rondo's relationship with Boston and LA. He got the game winner last night. We talked about yesterday how it was the 55th game for both teams. There ended up being 257 combined points, the 55th prime. Boston, Massachusetts, 55. Los Angeles, 55. The game was 114 days after the start of the NBA season. Also the 115th day of the season, rematch of the 114th World Series, same teams. We had the fight earlier this year where Rondo got suspended, which was a tribute to the World Series. So all of that was part of a riddle by the numbers that got neglected. And again, that's why it's so good to be thorough. If you can never think of players or deeper history riddles, there are always good things to analyze before you make your pick. But I don't think there are a lot of safe picks in the NBA today. Very dicey day. And that NHL game is tight, too. The one NHL game, New York's got numbers, but so do the Hurricanes. And then college basketball, there's not really any ranked games. So be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. We'll do it all tomorrow. So let me check the chat before we wrap it up. Denham thinks every away team, Denham thinks it's going to be a great day for away teams. Denham's been doing good with his picks lately. So got to give credit where it's due. Denham's thinking it's the day of away. Let's just, I want to see the gematria of away real quick. Away. Oh, we do have the 22 connection. Away's got a 22. We got a 22 date numerology. But Denham's filling the away today. I've heard Denham say it multiple times. His thought is that every away team is going to win except for the Timberwolves. But watch out, those Timberwolves, they do got a narrative today. So The one thing is they can get their 22nd conference loss, the Timberwolves, and the Pelicans got some big 22 connections. Yeah, you're all welcome. Again, my advice for today is, I would really, I'd be real cautious today. I think this is just a day of really tight narratives. I don't know what a parlay for the Warriors and the Bucks pays out. Probably not a lot since they're favorites, but these are the only outcomes that would surprise me today. Out of every game we looked at, this is the only game. If the Bucks were to lose, I'd be surprised. If the Warriors were to lose, I'd be really surprised. So they got the numbers. Not only do they have the edge in the narrative, but they definitely got the numbers today. Clearest narratives. So, all right, Truth Seeker, we'll leave it there. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day. Same time tomorrow, Saturday. We're doing this Monday through Saturday. And make sure I didn't miss any questions. Somebody said who's going to win the NBA Finals. I'm still feeling that Warriors Celtics finals because they begin on a date with 54 numerology, and because it's the 73rd NBA season and Steph Curry's born on the 73rd day of the year, and they just set the win mark at 73. I'm not coming off the Warriors. I think the Warriors are the Celtics right now of decades ago when the Celtics went to nearly every championship. If I'm wrong about the Celtics, the only other team I could see it being is the 76ers and Warriors, because the season began on the day leaving 76 days left in the year. Even though the Raptors are the front runners, I just think that's what the Raptors' role is in the NBA. Have great regular seasons and choke in the playoffs. I don't think it matters that Kawhi Leonard's there. I think that's just what they continue to do with the Raptors. So leave it there. Be back tomorrow. Until next time.